All right, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. This is a new segment coming at you. I'm calling it Genung The Restless. My last name is Genung, Genung. Sounds like young. So we're going to have me talking to some of our Patreon members. I think it's going to be really cool. A lot of our Patreon members are really well qualified from life experiences and a lot that they do. Today, I'm talking to Daniel. He is a very experienced person in sound frequency healing, resonance training, all those kinds of things. And I'm going to let him just start with his own personal, digression on it.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you to the community. Thank you, Dave, for everything that we do and how we support each other. The first thing I honestly would do is I'm going to open this up with a little prayer. I'm going to just do my little thing I wrote here, all right? Heavenly Father, Mother, Great Spirit, please bless this conversation. Let every word that I make be of a healing frequency for myself and those around me, and I am blessed. Mother Earth, please transmute all that is no longer serves into healing energy, and we are blessed. Aho. There we go. So I did that because frequency plus intention equals healing in my world. So like
Absolutely.
my voice is the frequency. The intention was the prayer. Sound amplifies the power of prayers. Prayer amplifies the power of sound. Together, intention, thought, and belief build a mutually reinforcing feedback loop. Now, a lot of this stuff, I'm not saying it for sure. Everything I'm going to say is stuff that I've experienced or I know, but
Exactly.
I'm always open to learning new things.
Right.
And like that last video you did, the gateway, man, that was just like so many dots connected, and it was powerful.
Same for me. Same
video.
for me. Absolutely. Yeah.
So in the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So to me, that's like in the beginning there was sound frequency, like he spoke. It was audible,
Right.
and that was like the start of this. So I guess that's just what I'm postulating, of course.
Yeah, no, right. No, but I like exactly, I'll go for it with it for a minute. I like that idea because like a lot of people try to like tell you what the Bible and the word of God all is and means, but like in a very literal sense, that's exactly what it means. The first thing was an audible sound that was God. Absolutely. I like that.
You even said it in your last video with the Big Bang. I used to not like it, and when you said that, I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's like Sonic and Origin. Like,
yeah,
okay, all right, maybe that was sort of like, yeah, I'm starting to vibe more with it.
Right. No, like, yeah, I think the way that like they told us science makes it sound like, no, that can't be, like, I don't trust science that way, but they aren't necessarily lying to us. They're just misleading kind of thing. Right. Yeah.
There you go. Everything is like, so like I know everything about frequency and I know nothing at the same time.
Right.
It's just
Right.
like, it's all like at this, yeah. So I've been like vibing on this idea of the wheel, and like I'm writing like a song about it, and it starts with ether, and ether is spirit, or the luminiferous light, the liquid light medium that surrounds us all. Because I dig heavily on the electric universe and like cosmology of connectivity of light instead of separation of darkness holding this all together. Because they still have not been able to explain black holes to my knowledge with the gravity theory, but like there's math within electric universe and it all being connected that explains like the positive and the negative and like the push and the pull on like universe and like solar system, excuse me, rather than trying to say.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, so continuing on, everything is technically energy. Even like this laptop, everything is in motion. Richard Feynman, the late great physicist, said that everything jiggles. I love that. I love to think that everybody's got like a little rhythmic pattern to it in a sense. Absolutely, so energy is broken theoretically into different categories: thermal, chemical, kinetic, and potential. But that's one thing. But I'm talking about subtle energy, and subtle energy, how I feel and what I've learned is the same as electromagnetism is to light. Just that very high frequencies and maybe very low. So we have our heart, we have our torus, we have our electromagnetism, and that's giving off subtle energy, which can be perceived. I'm starting to vibe. I think it can be perceived.
Yeah, absolutely.
It responds to different laws and such, of course. So studies on subtle energies from the books that I've read says that like attracts like, negative attracts negative, until certain thresholds of frequency, then it flips. This brings magnets to mind. You know how like two magnets go together,
right? Yeah.
So I'm trying to my brain needs to like give like a science thing. So I have like this whole science side and this whole spiritual side. So we prayed, so it was like divine. whatever name you want to give it. You can call it God, you can call it whatever you need to do it, but there's like a infinite source, like a divine source. I even get to like the Rodenberg mathematics as opposed to like the Fibonacci, where I think that's sort of more finite. I'm still learning about that. A lot of learners I learned from you guys, and I'm still piecing. We're all bringing our pieces of our puzzles together to
Exactly.
make
Right.
like a bigger
Yeah.
picture, which is beautiful. So just real quick, back to subtle energy. It is subtle energy is to electromagnetism, like water is to vapor. That's like the most simple way I can do it, but it is finer and more diffuse with different laws. So you got your electromagnetic field and you got your subtle energy. You got your water and you got your vapor. That's kind of a top
Right.
of it.
Right. I'm
We know that
tracking.
water changes at certain thresholds, 32 degrees Fahrenheit freezes. So yeah, I kind of vibe on that. So like I got somebody lying on the table, I hit my tuning fork, I come over their body with the tuning fork, kind of combing, and like I'm listening to the tuning fork real close, and I can hear it go sharp or flat at specific points of the body, right? So I'm like, all right, maybe
Right.
something's there. So I'll grab it, I'll click it, I'll drag it back into the center of the body, and I'll bring it back down, and I'll in my heart think harmony, think harmonious thoughts, my intention, and I'll use my frequency of my fork with my intention. I'm going to create healing in their subtle energy field, in a sense to harmonize somebody. So because there's the symphony of the self, we all have our own chord, we all have like this own sound.
Right.
So what may work for you, Cam, may not work for my neighbor. But that's why I want to have different instruments. I want to have cymbals. I want to have drums. I
Right.
want to
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
high
Yeah.
and low frequencies. It's all there.
So
So,
well, a question I got for you though. So then, you would even call it, yeah, I think that word the best, a balancing of yourself. Like you said, keep saying harmony, but like it's not a harmony that it's not a one size fits all by any means. It is really a trial and error for each individual like person to figure out their own harmony, right?
we're unique vibratory beings. We're unique vibratory beings. Each one of
Yep,
us are all unique, but we all have our own. Yeah, I would agree. That's how I feel about it. So that's why I
totally.
get like forks, tuning bowls. I got the Tibetan bowls. I got all different instruments because I want to make sure I hit those frequencies. I want to cover my fields. I want to cover the bases.
And so not just now, just personal question. So have you think you found your best harmony, your best frequency, your best, healing practices?
Yes and no, because like the only thing that I find is constant is change. So as the
Yeah,
planet
okay.
changes, things change, it sort of has to adjust. I do my best to find the one that is most pleasing and my own harmony. I like a perfect fifth. I like to go. I have my range. I have my range that every morning I tend to set the tone for myself. And I'll tone in the shower,
Literally and figuratively, right? Yeah, okay.
literally and figuratively. You got it. Yeah. So I think it changes. It's too. I can't say it's. We live in such an existence that things are so always ever changing. Like
Right.
it's too. You can't say this is it. This is perfect. This works. It's what works that day at that time at that intention in that place. So yeah.
Okay, cool. No. Just I really, so something I've never, like I've been around people that have done like Rafe machines, sound healing, frequency, things like that, binaural beats, meditation of things, but I've never actually got into it with someone, especially like yourself, that's more experienced and just not even just like experienced, but just like willing to try out any form, like try out
Yeah.
anything that
I'm
works
willing
all
to be
over the
wrong.
place.
Like
Yeah,
I'm
right.
learning, man.
So no, I'm just very interested in how what your experiences were on it. So yeah, no, I mean, keep going.
Beautiful. All prayers on this planet are vocalized, whispered, chanted, read aloud, spoken, or sung. So like that, and that is, it's just tying back to the beginning. I like to reinforce that it's the voice, and it's the voice is not just that. Voice is also like air. Like the
Yeah.
idea of the ether that I was getting into, like space is ether, right? And then wind comes, the voice comes, and that creates and like that starts to swirl, that creates plasma, which creates matter. And even our boy Dan Winter just said this. Where's the quote? It was about consciousness is a centripetal plasma vortex. It's like, oh, okay, so we get matter, and then consciousness comes from like I'm just trying to think of like how the sparks come together. So that's
Well,
just
I mean,
where I've
it's
been
still
postulating.
more of that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It was there all along. We verbalized it. We facilitated it into a different form. Absolutely, yeah.
Thought it into existence, brother.
Right.
Absolutely. I dig it. Memories are frequency too. I just I'm looking at my notes. I'm not gonna full disclosure. I got notes. I'm going off of.
No. Yeah,
Memories.
no, absolutely. So this is, I mean, I did notes for a long time to figure out at all what to say. I got you know what I mean? But no, so I'll ask a question about that. Unless you got more to say on it. But memories being frequencies and notes, do you think that they are the same frequencies and like resonance that they were when we were actively in them, or do they change once they become like now a past thing?
Totally, like there's a decay maybe like to like a guitar string, so there's
Right.
shorts,
Okay.
may not
Okay.
be the exact memory, but
Sure.
there's like a signal that there's a similarity to it that's close enough to the original. But totally, I feel like
Absolutely.
there's a decay.
Yeah. Okay. No. Good. Yeah. I'm with you. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of like the beginning spiel on like sound healing. And like I could get into my next thing is what I just experienced more recently is humming and using humming, like, or with your lips closed when you hum. I've learned that you can like control where you feel it in your body. Like I was able to like and like bring it down. I felt it in my arms. I actually like jumped. I was like, whoa, shoot. Like I caught myself off guard, and
Okay.
like I
Wait.
started.
Yes. No. Actually, I guess I've never thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right. Humming at different, I guess, notes levels. Absolutely, you feel it in different places in your body. Oh yeah, sure.
Brought it to my toes, to my head, and I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, man. It was like it was like
Yeah. That's something I'm gonna need to
a
sit down and focus on actually trying all over the place. Actually, I like
yeah.
that.
I'll give credit to one of our Patreon members, Scott, who brought something to my awareness called humming. It's humming and then whistling. So it's not traditional humming because you open your lips.
Uh-huh.
Once you do that, it's more sound and less vibration. But it has this thing where you're like, I'll try to do it. I can't. My
Okay,
mouth is
yes,
dry.
yes.
Like you hum
Interesting.
and
I
whistle.
Yeah.
It's a way to intonate. Honestly, I think.
Huh. Oh, that's no, I like that. I mean, Scott's brilliant. Yeah, no, like he's someone I want to do one of these with absolutely too. Sure, yeah.
Totally. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to be the first one of the first people. I'm like want to put myself out there, and I just had so much of this on my mind. This is a perfect platform to just
Absolutely right. Yeah.
get it
And
out
that's
there.
exactly what this is. We're not it's not like just
Restless.
me that's there. We're a community. We're like we're all fucking restless, absolutely. And we just want to share our pieces of the puzzle with anyone that needs a couple puzzle pieces.
Yeah, feels good, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
So frequency plus intention equals healing. Well, how do you do that intention? How do you encode your
Mm-hmm.
intention to the frequency?
Mm-hmm.
My favorite and personal way to do it is love and gratitude. I just think of love. I just think of an awesome puppy that has beautiful little eyes. I think of gratitude for being here in this time in this space to facilitate for that person. Like we are all like, that's what I'm here. I'm here to bring medicine. For so
Right.
long, I haven't been in line with that. I've been trying to do the 3D. Like I work for like the state of New Jersey, but
Mm-hmm.
like now I'm like focusing more on this, and like I'm just trusting that you gotta leap. Like you feeling froggy,
Absolutely.
you
Right.
gotta
Yeah.
leap.
It's a leap of faith. And we're like just like talked about in the gateway process video, faith is almost like one of the most powerful things you can have if you actually
Yeah.
have it. Absolutely.
I think believing is seeing. It's not seeing is believing. You have to believe it, and then you'll see it. It's
I
more,
like that. I like that. Yep.
yeah. Something else that was also in line with the gateway video, a lot of things that I find in people in the bottom three chakras. It's not the top three. The top three are more like technological,
Mm-hmm.
astral. It's the
Mm-hmm.
bottom three, which are like more like natural, connected to earth, that people
Yeah.
are holding their stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
earth, get out there more and like put your feet on the ground. Let the electrons go from you to the ground. Like,
No, it doesn't seem like someone I can't remember who made the point. I think it was a YouTube comment about the live stream the other day. Someone was like, all this talk of grounding made me think like literally we wear shoes with rubber soles. We are purposefully not really actually grounded so often, and I think that's a really important thing to do. Absolutely.
totally. That's where a lot of it is present as a sound
Mm-hmm.
healer. The minimal experience that I have had so far has been like, if it's my lady, my ladies has the bottom three chakras. It's like that's where we do the most work.
Interesting. No, okay. So to you, what is it about? I mean, as each chakra, as I understand it, at least gets into different like feedbacks and frequencies. But what about those three chakras? Yes, connected to the earth and more so on the grounded emotional like level. But do you think that they get weighed down more? That if you get what I mean, does that where a lot of your not negative energy, but your stress, maybe your anxiety, those kinds of things like just settle in you, maybe? Is
I
that
would
why
say
those
so.
seem to?
Like
Yeah.
it's all situational. It's all dependent on the person. but overarchingly, like, yes, like it's because like the top three is like technology and like it's hard to explain. I'm still sort of defining this, and I'm gonna
I
put a little
know
bit
part of
older.
it is actually like just I've realized so much that if you don't practice like even talking it out loud at all, you never figure out
Yes,
how to say it better. You can't just sit there in your brain and think about these things. You got to try to get words to them. You got to try to what we were saying earlier, facilitate that energy going outward. Absolutely right.
I even
So
write it. I'll write it
yeah,
first, and then I
yeah,
sit to
yeah.
both. It's a combination of the two, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I have to come. We'll circle back on that. I can't give you a solid answer on that yet.
Sure, no, that's fine.
I do know that, like, I think the heart is the bridge. There's the bottom three, and the heart is in the middle, and it's the bridge between the top. So it's like put things through your, yeah, like it goes through. I'm still figuring that out, but
But
something
but
there.
that makes sense even on a like just a cheesy stereotype level, like you're it goes through your heart, you listen to your heart, blah blah
Exactly.
blah, those kind of cliched sayings. Yeah, no, the heart really is a bridge between like the mind and the body. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect, man. Well said. Yeah. One of the cool things that experienced personally is what my teacher called me was energy eyes. It's when I'm like somebody's on the table and you start to squint and you could kind of see like maybe it's your eyelash, but you can kind of see
Mm-hmm.
like fogginess. It's like that's like to help figure out, all
Yeah.
right, that spot needs a little bit of work. I should bring that into the center or bring something like that. So I'm always on the lookout for something
Mm-hmm.
like that. I'm always sitting outside, like squinting, looking at trees, squinting, looking at different things, trying to like, where's the energy in this thing? Like just trying to
Uh-huh,
pick it up.
right.
Yeah, that's fun. It's
It's so
water
fun.
vapor, as
No, right.
electromagnetism.
I my I immediately start to think I want to ask you about it. So if you talked about, you know, your intention, love, love, gratitude, peace, those positive ones. We also obviously on this channel speak very conspiratorially of our, you know, overlords. Do you think there's something to be said, you know, like okay, well, Star Wars analogy, you know, the dark side uses like raw like anger and emotion to do its bidding. Is there something to be said for maybe not a sound healing, but like a like you get what I'm getting at? Like, are these people that are so bad, could they be using the same kind of processes, but in such a negative intent? Just a speculation to throw out at you, because
To be a
obviously we're
good
positive focused in this conversation, but just speaking on it.
to be a good healer, you also need to be a good warrior. You need to understand how to
Mm,
fight and how to use things both. It's not just one. For when you are on the battlefield, you can heal your brethren and you understand how the bodies work and you know how
mm-hmm.
to disable an enemy about your foe. Like
Okay.
Hollywood doesn't lie. I watched that Suicide Squad movie, and they did the death touch. They did
Mm-hmm.
mock, and I'm like, okay, well, yeah, there's that. I'm sure that that does exist. And
Right.
I do martial arts. I do jujitsu, Muay Thai, boxing. I've done different things, and I do feel like and even the CAI documents where it's like, think of the color red, take a deep breath, and then hit something, and your strength is up. So there is something to the color field. Yeah, yes, I think so. Yes, and
Okay.
it'd be
Yeah, no,
irresponsible.
it's because I mean, you know, so much of new age spirituality and things does really focus on the positive, but we also have to think about like, is this a playbook that our enemies are using too for their own gain on the opposite side? So I just wanted your perspective on it. I think you had a good one. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it'd be a disservice to not play your awareness. It's like being unconscious. We're all like creators and teachers and all these things. So like, if you're unconsciously like creating, it could lead to chaos, could lead to a dark night of the soul. So not being aware of that aspect could, it's just awareness, I say.
Absolutely. I mean, Star Wars again, but Palpatine obviously has really one of my favorite quotes. How can you understand all the life's mysteries if you don't like study all aspects of it? Yeah, absolutely. Um,
The mystic Gnosticism, like listen to everything, and that's a great attitude. It's a great way to learn.
it's been the most beneficial to me. I don't have to. Um, I mean, it's the best thing for open-mindedness. If anything, we are trying to be as open-mindedly as possible, because obviously nothing we've been led to believe was ever accurate to begin with.
Hmm.
So no one really knows. Like, well, you said it earlier. I know that I know, but I have no idea what I don't know what I don't know. So like, if someone thinks they might know something, take it in.
That's it, man. I love it. This leads to my even next point, which I call something called the mail slot, is being like the back of your head where your ultimate for chakra is, which is like the source of God. So like when I'm like doing work, I'm gonna pay attention to like you got to get out of your way. I'm not there to do the healing. Like I have one foot in on this world and one foot in this like divine infinite, so I can be a channel and a conduit. So for me personally, I'm starting to notice it comes through the back of the head. Like I feel little taps. Like my buddy sent me a video of like, a bookstore and like a book like tap me in the back. I'm like, dude, get me that book. And like I don't know why.
But there's something there. Absolutely.
Yeah. The perfect fifth, a pair of pitches with a frequency of 3 to 2. Pythagoras did all that and figured that out. The C and the G is my favorite. He used to have songs tuned for his the students and stuff. Like he would play the harp and he would have a song to tune each one of them individually. Which
really? Now see, this isn't something I knew. No, dive into that. I've never heard that.
Yeah, it's a story that I've read, but
he would as he's teaching them, as they're learning, as they're pontificating, whatever, they're getting into their own melodies, their own songs, they're finding what works for them to like best make them think.
Exactly.
I like that.
You just said that I like that.
It's like it's like the YouTube thing, the lo-fi beats for studying, whatever, like that goes on all day. You can't say it doesn't it's soothing to some degree. I get it.
We could get into the brain states with that as well, as you guys know, is for positive or for negative for brain states and such.
Totally. That's great. It's not something I knew. These are why I want to do these conversations. We do these Zoom calls every week, and it's they kind of like one thing into another. But one-on-one kind of calls with these members, you get really into the nitty-gritty, and you get to learn a lot of what just one individual can know and tell you. I like it so much. Absolutely.
I can look forward to listening to some of these other. Exactly. I'm thinking.
I know, right? Yeah.
With this person, yeah. Real fast, I want to touch on this one. 440 hertz versus 432.
Okay.
I not figured out. I feel like there's Rife machines.
Yes.
They produce a frequency that is exactly 430. Unless you have a Rife machine or whatever you have, like a bowl, if you tune to 432 when you hit it, there's overtones, dude. It's not just pure 432. Like if you get a meter out and you test it, it's like it goes up and down. It's not just exactly pure.
Right. Yeah.
So like as far as this whole 432 music versus 440, okay, what was the person who's making it intention when they made it? Was it Bob Marley, or was it like a composer in like Europe, right, in a classical symphony?
Right. That intention carries all the way through to its okay, absolutely, right.
And then I'll bring it to the Dr. Emoto water crystal experiment, where there's this experiment that Emoto did at a certain place, at a certain time on the planet with certain people with certain intention, where they got waters to freeze in cymantics and beautifully. To my understanding, that has not been reproduced yet. I'm not saying it wouldn't be reproduced, but it was a certain time and a certain place, and that's beautiful and that's great. I love it. I'm happy to see that. But like this whole movement of like, because I bought 2 Rav drums in the key of the 440 versus 432. I was talking to my teacher and I'm like, man, what did I do? I got to return these. I got to get 432. It's the magical healing frequency. He was like, dude, sit down.
No, like, yeah, right.
He's like chill out. Like it's an instrument. Do you think like the shaman, like people back in the day had tuning things to tune? Were they just humming what they felt were humming? Like so.
Right. It's not like they had frequency readers. They literally had to point blank feel it out, like you were talking about the humming earlier, feeling it in your body. Absolutely. Of course they couldn't. They just had to figure it out.
I think they made these bowls that are like frosted like sound bowls, and they're 20,000 grand, and they need a reason to be able to charge somebody that. So like, oh, it's 432. It's magical. So like,
right. No. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's the same kind of thing. Like as soon as someone starts to charge money like that for something, I start to become skeptical, at least. But okay, well then let's actually talk about that. Do you feel 432 hertz does actually, like, sure, we know it's beneficial purposes, but do you feel like it is second sometimes too, like the 440 hertz you were just talking about? Do you feel like there's better ways to go for certain things, like just objectively, or do you feel like back to that same thing of everyone feel it out for them personally kind of thing?
Yeah, I would say it's more like situational to the, like,
Okay.
you have to feel it out. I've listened to a lot of 440 music in my life, and I'm not gonna not like still like it, but I'm just gonna do it with more of a consciousness, more of
Uh-huh.
an awareness. And like I'm creating music in both frequencies, honestly.
Mm.
It's what I feel. Like you said,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
more of, like I think it's great to have like this healing bowl. That's the intent. Saying it's 432 is and making it is putting the intention into it. That's
Absolutely
beautiful.
right.
Don't not do that, please.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one of the ways, and that just covers that frequency too. Maybe somebody like, because some people can't eat mushrooms, like you said, some people can't because it makes their body feel different. So just you gotta cover it all. You gotta cover all
Yeah, yeah,
bases.
yeah, absolutely. No, right. I same kind of back to the, the bad guys, but so is there a frequency that you feel like, I know that we've categorized music, like pop stations, like radio music, into certain frequencies. We've categorized and made, you know, certain things only ever be in certain frequencies. I think it's like, cable news is and TV is
Yeah.
broadcast at a certain frequency too. So is there frequencies you see as innately, like always, not a negative thing, but just like it's a thing that messes with us on purpose? Or do you see like them just being used for the wrong things?
Totally. And like you said it last, I think it's just used for the wrong things. I
Okay.
think it just exists in its nature. We don't
Yeah.
understand that because we like to put things in the box, good, bad, evil thing. When in
Right.
reality, it just exists and just is.
It
And
is.
it's like,
And then it's about the application of after the fact. Right.
agreed.
I'm
I
with
think
you.
that's a better way to look at it. Like you got to
Yeah. Okay.
understand like the yin and the yang. It's
Mm-hmm.
there. It's just
Right.
part of
Yeah.
it.
No. It just is. Yeah. That's really the thing, is that these frequencies are, these energies, they always were, that we've like Lord have mercy, like millions of years ago, before there's any humans, right? Is it not fair to say that all of this was, like, all of this energy, matter, neither created or destroyed, it was all still there? It's
Mm,
just like, gotten so much more finite and broken off into other
yeah,
people and all that. Yeah.
yeah, like cycled. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Right. No, that,
I
I
look at
mean,
it. Yeah, oscillations as well. There's a lot of ways to like
good word,
comprehend
good word. Yeah.
how it gets to that, how it got to this point. Rather, excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I bring up them. So how this all works to me, and like because my science brain is like, well, what is this happening here? The
Yeah.
dual slit experiment. The idea that like once you start observing electrons, they act differently. Um, it's like so the observer collapsed the wave. Like so, sound healing works by observing this expected outcome, so I see the results. It's as simple as
Mhm.
that. And my eyes are the. It's
Right,
it. I'm
right, right.
observing.
Huh.
Is it
So
that
kind of like,
placebo?
sorry, kind of like the opposite of the watch pot never boils.
I
Like,
suppose.
yeah, okay. Okay. I just, metaphoring it out. I
Yeah,
like to do that a
that's a
lot.
good one. Yeah,
Okay.
because like
Keep going, keep
I'm doing the healing with an expected outcome, so therefore there is healing. The
going.
person
Right.
also has to be recipient as well and want to receive it. And like we're not really actually doing anything. Allegedly, the divine source is doing
Mm-hmm.
all of this, and the divine
Right. Yeah,
knows.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm not going to ask you like what's wrong. Like, what, you got a thing on your back? Because that's me, my ego trying to do shit. I'm just going to be like,
Hmm.
hey, how was your day? Like, and
Right.
when we sit down to do this, just so our auric feels, just so I could like tune into it, so I could like, because it knows, like source is going to know. Like I don't need to, like I just got to like verse myself in the vocabulary, which are these instruments. So I sit and I practice. I play different rhythms. I play different speeds. So I have a bigger vocabulary in which the divine can come through. That is the that's
Mm-hmm.
what we're going
Yeah,
with here.
no, totally. Right. It really is a
Different
feeling out
religions,
process on
different
all
religions is more
fronts.
vocabulary to spot to spirit. Not one is
Yes.
right over the other, man. It's just more
Mm-hmm.
vocabulary.
Yeah, right. It really, yeah. I mean, it's an unspoken vocabulary at times too, but it still is a vocabulary, right?
Yeah. And the things work like a drum, like this. This is your frequency amplifier or your intention amplifier. It literally amplifies my intention. It's different. It's
Mm-hmm.
moving air. It's making sound. It's making
Mm-hmm.
waves. and it's going to amplify that intention. So I'll use the drum and I'll use certain rhythmic patterns because I feel that like everything is rhythm in the universe to an extent, like the ebb and the flow of the waves or the movement. So certain rhythmic patterns will speak to certain things in the body. And I'm learning this soulmonic healing, which is my teacher. It's this guy, Three Trees. I met on a retreat a while ago. He's pretty wild, but you know, I dig it. I dig what he's saying. And he combines the indigenous with the contemporary. And like, again, it's just more vocabulary to do divine communion.
Yeah. So, okay. Well then, no, I want to break that down. You say he combines the indigenous with the contemporary. So what kind of, combination of things is he doing there?
Like the first instrument is the drum and like sitting around the, the first instrument's the voice. But one of the earlier instruments was the drum, and there's deep cellular memory within ourselves of standing around those fires and hitting that drum. For example, drum circles. There's the shamanic pulse. There's science to it. 180 beats per minute, 3 beats per second. Dum 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 dum. There's a reason why all the music, because it puts you in a state. It's those brain states again that we go back to. And that, I think, works with entrainment. I'm just starting to figure this out a little bit, messing with this quantum entrainment idea. Like I'm starting to piece. I'm still learning. I'm still gaining my knowledge, but it's making sense how like you could entrain things together a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us never stop learning and figuring it out. Absolutely. There's no point in like, as soon as you say you know it all, you are 100%. Yeah,
so I don't dig Reiki master because I don't master my practice either, because that's like dominion is over it as well. I don't have dominion over it. I mean, that's fine. You can go out there, get your certification and be a Reiki master and do plenty of good. But personally, I don't use the word master. I'm forever a student, man.
Right, totally. Yeah, exactly. That's why that's why we click really well, because of the same mind in that way. It's very, very true, very true. Okay.
We're all powerful teachers, creators, and healers. No matter what the ego tries to tell you, no matter what like the world tries to tell you, we all have this ability to tap into these archetypes, as you know from those documents and stuff. It's all within us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just so interesting to me. Okay, so now I want to ask, obviously, right, like you, very, very cool, very organic. I love that, like, you were on a retreat and you met someone that could begin to like help you on that journey of this kind of thing. But so what kind of resources would you say for someone that just wants to like get into this the same way? What, like, books they should read, places they should look for those, those bowls you're talking about, those drums, like what kind of places should people go?
My first book I read was Tuning the Human Biofield by Eileen. McKusick, I can rep it, but she did forks. So I started
at the after. I mean, I'll get you to like say all the books you're gonna, but then like you'll send them to me. I'll put them in description too, just for people to have.
Precisely. We'll put them all there. The other one was Vibrational Medicine. It's this handbook by this Richard Gerber, MD. It's one of like, I just got a book. In all honesty, the way that happened was my lady's angelic Reiki practitioner, and she bought forks in that book, and it came to the house, and I just took it. I'm like, I'm reading this. She was using it for her practice. I'm like, man, I am. I just called to it. I don't know.
No, that mail slot you were talking about, right? Yeah.
Exactly. It was that. Cool. It was like a tap on the back. So I had a choice, free will. I could have followed it, or I could have not. It's not a problem either way. It's just I had been meditating and doing things that have allowed me to, like, eating good food. Like that retreat that I did 3 days of organic food and water, and I had like a profound, I don't want to call it a kundalini because that's too thing, but I did have like this like moment where I came home and I was sweating and I couldn't, like, we were supposed to go out and I can't move. I had to sit here and just breathe and relax and eventually it passed. But like that was like I had just like so many realizations just from like.
Do you think? I mean, I just, I don't know. Maybe you haven't psychoanalyzed that moment at all really yet. But like, so do you think that was because you just said it was when you came back, right, from that retreat? So is that kind of like a crashing back to like the not organicness of reality because you had been on that retreat, or what do you think? What do you think that was?
I had an adverse effect to it because I didn't per se. I have my energy field. I was in this field for like days. So my energy field
Yeah.
was big and huge.
Yeah.
So I came home and like there was shit leaching into it left and right. And I think I even had a slice of pizza from my local pizzeria. And like my body was just like physically like that. And energetically was like, whoa, what the fuck? And I just had to like center myself and ground myself.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Makes perfect sense. I mean, yeah, no, sometimes I'll be like out at playing pool on a weekend or something, and I'll all of a sudden after I've done like a video like one of these where like my brain is just going 90 miles an hour and like expanding and things, and then I'll go play pool for relaxing, and then it'll start to get crowded and I can like feel everyone in the room, and I'm just like, nah, maybe not here tonight, and I'll have to leave. So like, yeah, no, I know exactly the kind of feeling that you were getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I was like, I can't go out right now. I have to like get myself whole before I can do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
man.
so then those, you said those books, any other books first of all?
Well, I'm just on those three, and my
Okay, yeah.
guy, three trees. He's got some talks and some stuff. He's just my current mentor. When the teacher is ready, the student appears. The student is ready, the teacher
Yeah,
appears.
absolutely.
So
No, that's,
I'm
yeah,
just
that, I love
grateful.
that. I love that just like like I said, organically worked out for you. That's amazing. That's how you know it was supposed to happen. Um, so then I'll ask this, what's, obviously, I mean, you're obviously, if you've done music for a long time, like you already have kind of a background of instruments and probably a reservoir of instruments already collected over a while. But like, what's a singular one thing someone could like start with? Like you talking about those bowls, you're talking about the drums, like, you know what I mean? Or is it just so simple as you've got a voice already, start doing it?
It's so simple. You got a voice, just hum. If you
Okay.
don't want to spend money on anything, just use your voice. Because
Right.
that is the first one, and that is the one, man. So
Okay.
like I said in the morning, like there's certain vowel sounds you could make that equate to certain parts of the body. So if you're feeling something somewhere, just do that. I had a little throat thing going on a couple of days ago, so I use an I sound, and I thought of like little white light going to that spot and like hitting it up, and like I help myself feel better. Like placebo or not,
It
don't matter to
absolutely,
me. I
no,
still feel
right.
better.
It faith, it works because you believe that it would, period. I know, right? Absolutely. Huh.
And it's not
Okay.
like it's a practice. Like
Yeah,
it's a practice. So every day the task begins anew, and you begin doing it again. So you never
absolutely.
master it.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you never really do master. You get better, and you get able to help others. But yeah, no, master. I don't even like the word. Um,
Mhm.
but
So
so
my advice would be to like kind of sum up some of this is to like to think and to like because be conscious of what you're thinking, broadcasting, and doing because if you're creating unconsciously, that leads to the lack of choice, the dark night of soul, which could lead to
mhm,
chaos in your life. It may come never, it may come at the end, but typically
right.
that leads to something like that.
Yeah.
Make a list of how you feel connected to spirit and make it an everyday thing. Don't do it once every Christmas card, every Easter. Try to like have like a call every day and be like have coffee and like do your practice, whether it be breathing.
Right.
Like on my list, longboarding's on there, cooking good food. That's a way you can feel connected to spirit. It doesn't have to
Mhm.
be like this hippy dippy woo woo woo. You could do like the
Yeah, no,
simplest
right.
cooking.
It's not going out to the woods and getting, the magic mushroom tripping by a fire type
But
thing.
it is also that. That's just
It
the
is
white
that, but it
thing.
doesn't have to be that.
Doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, so we were all a chord. We were playing. Not everything affects everything. Some of the
Mhm.
rhythms I learned are Ruben. That's some of the background, and yeah, that's the end of my spiel. Really, honestly.
No, yeah, I appreciate it, and I'm glad. Like that was great. Preparation. That's the word I wanted. So yeah, no, I'm glad you got the time to. Couple questions then for me. Just we'll just like shoot the shit for next 10 minutes or so. Do do you feel like, obviously you just said that is necessary sometimes. Um, do you feel like there's a, like, did it help, did it start you on your journey, did it help you on your journey? I'm talking about psychedelics, I guess. Like, were you on that path before discovering or learning about those? You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. I mean, yeah, whatever. But Do you feel that they helped? Do you feel that they jump started you? Some people I've talked to have ended up saying it sets them back too, because it makes them wig out and they get too up in their own head. So I'm just, curious on your own take on them.
So I've done mushrooms all positively, except for one time I did them 6 months after my dad's death on his birthday. I had a negative experience. Go figure where my mind was at that time. So,
Right. Yeah. Right.
so I think mushrooms are good. They've always pushed me towards positive. I've seen colors. I took them recreationally the first couple times, and then I realized, oh, this isn't something that's recreational. I should be like
Right.
doing it sacredly or just a little more consciously, I guess is the best way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I
one of
did
my
have,
go ahead.
okay. I had a salvia trip once that really set me back, honestly, because I think salvia was something to negatively affect us, or release through
Yeah,
shots.
absolutely. Yeah. It was, I mean, it was
What it did was it put me like, there's the veil. I went up to the veil. I went like this. I was like, oh, and it was like that. It was just like a look. It was like a peek. Then I got like pushed like backwards. So I didn't like quite get the DMT where you go through there, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
got like,
yeah.
there was a chain link fence, and I was like peeking through the fence, like, oh, look at that. And that just brought a
Interesting.
lot of that definitely yeah, like I said, I think it was one of those ones that set you back, but I'm still grateful for it. I'm still honestly,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like
it's
part of
it's lesson learned either way, negative initially or not.
me. That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah. Mm, Wait, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, no, to me it's so funny that, like you said, the first times you did it recreationally, and then you realize this is a learning thing. It's a spiritual thing. It's really not funny. I shouldn't say funny. It's kind of a shame, actually, that these very spiritual drugs, well, you want to make it LSD, even though that's a chemical compound, mushrooms, ayahuasca, MDMA, they've been turned into rave music festival, go stand in a large crowd and look at really, really flashing bright lights. They've been turned into that, almost as if to make sure that they aren't used how we're speaking on them. And like I said, it's just a shame. I don't know what to do about it. Anytime I talk to anyone about them, that's a point I bring up, but it's just a shame.
It's totally a shame. It's just, it seems like it was a weapon almost to do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, a good psyop. I can't say that, because obviously I've done that. I mean, raves on some ecstasy or like nutso rad dope times, sure, but there's just something so much more fulfilling about doing it the way that it really was intended.
I mean, there's balance, and obviously there's maybe a reason and intention, time for place for that, but
Yeah.
overarchingly it should be balanced a little more,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Right, absolutely balanced. Sure, everything should be, right? I mean, it's not like talking about, they didn't have the frequency readers. They were still, doing these herbs and these shamanistic practices, and they were still doing those drum circles. They weren't not to not bright lights fucking up your eyes, but they weren't not partying a little
They
bit.
did wear like feathery, bright clothing. A guy would come out in plumes and be like,
Right.
"Doof,
Yeah,
doof, doof."
exactly.
So there was a show aspect to it too. So
Absolutely.
deny that human experience. We're here to have a human experience to an extent. So like,
Yeah.
have fun, man. Just balance. Like, I realize you should come back. Yeah, you should connect to Pachamama a little bit as well. Talk to Mother Earth.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. I I really want to myself, because I think you saw in group chat, yeah, you said I'm in. I think, like, we were looking at that meditative group thing coming up this week. I want to myself even get into more of these like sound healings and these practices, because I've done meditation. I do meditate. But obviously, a podcast to run, I stay way more busy and hate how much I look at a computer screen now. Yeah. So I need to, just like you said, you wake up, you set the tone for the day with an actual, tone. I need to be practiced and mindful of that. So no, that's another reason I really like the idea of this talk.
Be gentle with yourself because it's just a practice. Like if you don't get to it, it's okay. I think you got to be careful of like being like, oh, I missed it. Now I'm like negative. Now it's
Right.
the opposite. So just be conscious. Just be like, all right, well, I missed it, so I'm gonna cut my sandwich a little more, something. Just find a
Yeah,
place.
right. No, there's other ways to do it. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. That intention can go elsewhere, even if it's not in the practice you intended it originally. Right.
There you go.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, that's like a great chat and talk. I really enjoyed this. Yeah. I will ask you, do you want this to be on Patreon first and then to YouTube, or you want to go straight to YouTube with it? Up to you.
I have nothing to, you can go to YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. No, it'll be on YouTube. No COVID talk, right? Like nothing to worry about putting on YouTube. It'll go straight to YouTube uncut. I'm happy with it. This is a great talk, dude.
I tried to, that, like, Ron's really good at that, so I kept that in mind. Keep the talk to,
right. Absolutely. All right, man. Well, everybody, this was Daniel. He's a fantastic member of our community. I really do hope this encourages some people, get involved. You don't have to join it whatever the top tier is. You buy into Patreon, you get access. You don't have to stay with it forever, but you do get to talk to these people that are so fucking amazing, and they deserve to like talk to you too. Members of the Patreon seeing this on YouTube, this is Genung the Restless. Any of you come to me, we can talk about anything, and you're all qualified in so fucking much. There's so many videos to do on it. So happy Sunday, y'all. I appreciate it, and we'll be seeing y'all soon.